Alright. I'm gonna get this. I landed on the cookies. It's rewinding the movie. That time I'm done with Into the Spider-Verse. Oh, I'm gonna get the stance. It's all fine now. Ooh, that could have been. Ooh. Could kill myself. Where'd the cat come from? Alright. So, it's me, Steve, you know who I am. So, we move on to, down. I had it set up, and then I did my trick. But, Spider-Man 3, realized there's something I didn't show you in the last video. Hold on. Because I had to do it. There it is. The inside of Spider-Man 2 Blu-ray. There's that. And then we'll look at the inside of the Spider-Man 3. There. Alright, so this one is a tricky one. I like it, but I know there's flaws in it. Channel Awesome on YouTube did a fanscription where they took out Venom. But I think it would have been better if they took out the Sandman. Because why is the Sandman in there? I mean, they literally had to retcon something to insert him in. Otherwise, he wouldn't be relevant. Just another criminal. I didn't know what the Sandman was, really. I mean, I played, the game Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro, the video game. On the PS1, I played that a little bit, but Sandman wasn't a big villain for me. So he's going to be in there, and then Venom, because the studio wanted Venom. Well, I know Sam Raimi didn't want to do Venom, but he could have taken out the Sandman. Because it seems like they kept him in there, and they had to have a reason to keep him in there. So they retconned that he was responsible for Uncle Ben's death, which doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, he could have been there. Sure, absolutely, but So what do we got here? We got Peter, Mary Jane, her couple are together. He finally made it to one of her shows, although he was at her show in the second one as well. Here's something I didn't get to talk about in the second one, I just realized it. Peter losing his powers. Alright? I didn't talk about that in the second one. I'm talking about it now. So if anyone commented saying, hey, you didn't talk about Peter losing his powers, I'm talking about it right here, right now, because it made no sense. It made no sense. How he loses his power. Yes, they did that in the cartoon series. They did that in the animated series back in the 90s. They did that. But they gave a reason for it. It was his mutation. He was mutating into something more than just a human with spider powers. But in Spider-Man 2, he just lost his powers because he wasn't confident enough or something. They never explain it. But then after he gets knocked over a table by the Dr. Octopus, all of a sudden he's got his powers back. He goes, and I'm sorry, I wear glasses, right? He throws his glasses, they land on the pavement or whatever, and one of the things pop out. Doesn't work that way. You drop the glasses on the ground, glasses are gonna pop out. I'm sorry. It just does not work that way. Now let's get into Spider-Man 3. Now that I've said my piece on that, got to say in the last video, it's what happens when you go, unscripted on most things. You forget stuff. Especially when I think I had to, was it 2 I had to record more than once, or was it 1? I think it was 1 I had to record. I had to do it 3 freaking times. But, yeah. The first one I had to record 3 times, so this is kind of the second one. I forgot it, okay? And like I said in my last one, it would have made more sense. I know Eddie Brock is the Venom in the comics. But, movies are straying from comic books all the time, like the new Joker movie. It has nothing to do with the Joker's origin story in the comics, and apparently it's doing good. I don't know. I'm gonna go see it and I'm gonna bash it because I know it's gonna suck. Everybody said, "Oh, it's pretty good, it's pretty good." It got 8-minute standing ovation. So they could have just been clapping because it was over. Yes, it's over. Finally, we're not going to sit through this anymore. I'm sorry. It does not look like the Joker to me. It's not the right suit. It's not the right makeup. It's not the Joker. Back to Spider-Man 3. That kind of, people have a problem with Venom in this movie, and I say, yeah, but like I said, Sandman was the problem for me. And not only unknown villain within the major, fan base. Maybe you know passing, and I knew about him, but he wasn't in an animated series. He wasn't a big character. He was in Spectacular Spider-Man, but he wasn't really a big type character. So to have him in here, and like I said, the only reason that they gave him a reason to exist in this, he was responsible for killing Uncle Ben by accident, as I explained at the end, but to me it still doesn't make any sense. Venom made more sense than Sandman. And yes, they could have built this as the alien suit saga, right? At the end, have him fighting against Harry and the Sandman, whatever, and then at the end, he breaks free from the suit, and it drops down. And you don't even need to see it, you don't even need to see it get Eddie Brock at this point. They could have just ended with him back in the regular Spider suit. He takes down Harry, takes down the Sandman, and then it ends. And then if they did a fourth one at this, they could have started right where it left off, with Eddie Brock being taken over by the Venom. Right from the beginning, They didn't, and they forced Venom into this. Like I said, take out Sandman, you got a better chance. And even, take out Eddie Brock. Make it John Jameson. Because that would have made more sense the way they're telling the story. He's jilted, he was left at the altar, he could have had revenge on his mind. And that could have forced problems when Peter gets the suit on and he's angry. He tries to, Jameson tries to talk to Mary Jane, but then Peter gets jealous. They end up fighting. Peter, they end up fighting, and she pushes Peter away. Then you got Harry coming in there and trying to force his way into their lives and get revenge and stuff like that. And you could have deleted that scene at the end of, didn't need to put that scene at the end of the second film. All they needed to do was, even if they could have had when Octavius came to get the tritium, bring him Spider-Man, had Harry unmasked Peter while Octavius was there. Octavius asked for the tritium, and Harry's like, no, it's not right, and then have him throw him through the mirror where he would end up in the thing, and the gas gets him, and that's the origin for the new Goblin. And then have starting this one where the gas kind of affecting him. He sees his father because the gas is affecting him, And I'm sorry, I'm kind of just rewriting the movie here, but it's, I'll get to the actual review, but I'm saying they could have done things better. like taking out the Sandman, having a different way for the new Goblin to be born in the second film, bringing him into this. Get rid of the stupid amnesia subplot in this one, because that's stupid. While I think Dancing Peter is funny, Emo Peter is funny, I think, get rid of him. Have him be more brooding than emo. the Venom symbiote is supposed to bring out the anger in you. Like in the series, they bring out your worst quality. Yeah. Plus, I would love to see Tobey Maguire turn to that guy from Aerosmith, like in the animated series. But okay. So what we got here? Peter wants to. We go back to the actual film, but Peter wants to propose to Mary Jane, and he gets the ring from his Aunt May. Her ring. And before he can propose, though, he's attacked by the new Goblin, which is Harry. And Harry gets knocked unconscious. He hits his head, he loses his memory, and he thinks he's best friends with Peter and Mary Jane and everything. And there's a scene. And I seem to remember, I went to see this in the theater with my friend, and I had to go to the bathroom. And when I came back, is when Harry and Mary Jane were kissing. You know, there's not much Jameson in this one. Like JJ, I mean. Like I said, they could have used John Jameson as Venom. It would have made a lot more sense than just like shoving Eddie Brock into the story. And again, they had to give him a reason for being around, right? They insert Gwen Stacy for some reason. They have Eddie Brock be her boyfriend, sort of. They went on like one date. They had that connection. You know? You didn't even need to add these characters in there, is what I'm saying. You take them out, put John Jameson in there. One character that could have drove the Venom storyline. And even if you're going to do the Venom in one movie, you still could have done it. You could have had the first half, have Peter, you know, you could have had the space shuttle incident from the comics and the animated series. And Spider-Man saves the day, but the Goblin shows up to attack him, and there's a fight, and JJ blames Spider-Man for what happened, but it's really the Goblin, but he doesn't believe that there's another Goblin because the other Goblin was gone. I don't know what's Norman Osborn, but the other Goblin was gone. You could have had, you know, wake up in the hospital and say, no, Goblin. You know, like they did with the guy in the rhino costume. You know? And he'd be like, oh, they were telling the truth. You know? And you could have had like this whole tortured soul where John Jameson tries to get back with Mary Jane, but the black suit covered Peter is angered and lashes out at him. And then there's Harry, and he lashes out at Harry. And that's when Mary Jane is like, oh, you're not acting like yourself, Peter. And, you know, it's not till Spider-Man faces up against a new Goblin and he almost kills Harry that he stops. He web slings to the church, and he, trying to get it off, bumps the bell, it frees him, and then, you know, passes it down to John Jameson, and he becomes Venom to finish off the film. This is not how it really goes, but I'm saying they could have made it more cohesive that way. I keep going into what they could have done as to what they did do, because they could have made this, I think this movie's okay, they could have made it a lot better. If you see a lot of Flint Marco's, you know, Sandman's past, that kind of color, it's a 2 hour and 20-minute movie. Here, I'm supposed to be streaming a video game right now, but I'm doing this review because it took 2 hours and 20 minutes. The movie was long. You know? So anyway, you know, there's tensions between Peter and Mary Jane at one point because he gets this new suit, the black suit, because it just, handle it right either. Just lands on Earth. There's no explanation. Just lands on Earth. How are we gonna get this thing to Earth? Oh, just lands on Earth. And eventually he gets taken over by it, and he becomes a black suit as Spider-Man. It starts to affect him. Becomes emo Peter, and then you got Harry, who has no memory, and he's starting to connect with Mary Jane. Kisses her, of course. Then he gets his memory back when I think he has the gas in him at this point, but it talks to him because he's got the strength. Whatever. Me and Peter play basketball in the house, but you shouldn't play basketball in the house, children. But then it becomes about revenge, and he forces Mary Jane to break up with Peter, and Peter was about to propose. And then he forced her to say that she's seeing someone else. She found someone. There's someone else. She's seen someone else. And then Harry says, "Oh, it's me," and that makes him mad. And then it's when he almost kills Harry with his own pumpkin bomb that he's like, "No, I don't need this," and he sheds it. And while Eddie Brock is praying in the church, he gets affected, and then he actually, there's a fight between Peter, Spider-Man, Black Suit Spider-Man, and the Sandman in the sewers that he thinks he killed the Sandman. He's been a sand, but it doesn't mean he can't reform himself. And then there's the scene where they go to the the police station, and the police tell him that it was Flint Marko who murdered Ben, which they didn't need to retcon that. I'm sorry, they didn't. They had to give Sandman some purpose in the film, and so they retconned it. They didn't need to. You see these movies, they're from the same person in each film. Sam Raimi directed all three of these. Why would he need to retcon his own films? That just confuses me. But this review's getting long. So let's get to the climax. The climax, Sandman and Venom kidnap Mary Jane and have her in a taxi. And Spider-Man's gotta go save the day, but he can't do it alone, so he goes to Harry. Harry's mad because he's got burns on his face. But then Bernard comes in and tells him the truth. But Peter should have said from the beginning, instead of Harry, actually tell him the truth. But he didn't. But Bernard comes in and he tells him that the wounds that killed Norman were from his own glider. And then that's what has him to go save Mary Jane. And, of course, Harry dies saving from his own glider, just like his dad. Saving Mary Jane. But he dies a hero. And, of course, they kill off Venom, too. Because I guess you just have to kill off your villain in your movies. Because, people, when talk about Spider-Man 4, I'm like, oh, they can bring in Carnage. How? Sure, they can retcon it and say that Venom reproduced before the battle, but that would make even less sense than Marco murdering Uncle Ben. If they didn't kill... That's why I was so pissed that they killed Venom. Like, how are you going to do Carnage now? I mean, you could say that he reproduced before the battle, but that makes no sense. What they should have done is like they did in the cartoon, send it up to space in a shuttle. And, then John Jameson would have been Venom, like I said, and he would be, and have Harry, instead of dying, turn himself in, go to jail for what he had done. And say, I'm paying for mine and my father's sins, Pete. What's better? And yes, have Mary Jane die. My ending for Spider-Man 3 would have been a little bit different. It would have had them back on a George Washington Bridge, where the climax of the first film took place, where the beginning of my version of the movie would have been. And George Washington Bridge. At this point, Jameson's already been told it was the guy in a goblin costume that caused the problems, so he believes it's the goblin that's the big villain in this. You got Harry as the goblin, and Peter teaming up against Venom, who's got Mary Jane hostage. And the two are fighting him off. Peter remembers the sonic disturbance thing, and finds the metal pipes, the frequency. What Jane shakes them loose, and Harry goes to save Mary Jane, but the police have arrived with JJ. JJ has arrived with the police, and they start shooting at the Goblin, which causes Goblin to drop Mary Jane. Peter, having subdued the symbiote in a container, sees Mary Jane about to fall, like a little container. Is that one? Sees Mary Jane about to fall and goes to save her, but he's unable to. He gets a hold of her, cracks her neck on the bridge, and dies. And this is my version of the film. This is not how this is how my version of the film would end. I wanted to kind of insert the stuff in there. So it's a review. It's also how would I have done it. So from this point, Jameson sees that it was his son that was this Venom character. Harry turns himself in, and Jameson stops them from going after Spider-Man, because at this point there would have still been a bounty on him. Like I would have had Jameson put a bounty on him like he did in cartoon and stuff. And even in this movie, he put a bounty on him too. But in my version, he never took it off because he still doesn't like Spider-Man. But upon seeing what happened, he tells them, don't. I'm removing my bounty. Let him be. You know? Have it end that way. That was a better ending than what we got. Especially that it's going to be the last one. And they could have built from that too. You know, have the fourth one, a possible fourth one, have Harry being released from jail, from prison for good behavior. You know? And you can do, because you can have Peter, instead of sending space, you could have Kurt Connors is studying the symbiote, and he discovers it's about to reproduce. Before some thugs, and it could even be Mac Gargan, who is the Scorpion, breaking in with, I don't know, Herman Schultz, the Shocker, have them break in to steal something, and they knock over the Venom symbiote. It gets out. It splits into two. But this time, the Venom symbiote will find the actual Eddie Brock. You could have your third version introduce Eddie Brock, but don't have him be the main villain yet. And don't cast Topher Grace. He's not tough. All right. Danny Masterson would have been an idea. Hell, Ashton Kutcher. No, I'm not gonna say that. But Danny Masterson would have been a better version. So okay, I've rambled for way too long about how I would have done this. But the actual film, I'm gonna give a 7 out of 10 because I like it, but not as much as the others. 7 out of 10. We're gonna go from there. Like, share, and subscribe. What are your thoughts on Spider-Man 3? What do you think about my version? You think my version would have been a little bit better? Take out the Sandman, but a little bit more focused on Venom. Kind of make it John Jameson instead of Eddie Brock. I know it's not from the comics, but you can change things a little bit. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.